Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Bill O'Reilly just slams the door on Chris Cuomo, reminding him of what's actually happening on the crime crisis that's sweeping the nation. Let's dive in.
Bill, the way to bring down crime in urban centers is not to have National Guard parked all over the place. It's much more sophisticated and programmatic than that. You know this. I would imagine so does the president, but he's doing it this way. Why?
Well, you're lucky to have me on the program tonight because
Always.
You're starting to sound like a coxcomb. All right, C-O-X-C-O-M-B.
I know what the word is.
All right. So I'm going to save you from yourself once again.
Please. Thank you, St.
Number
Bill.
one, you're welcome. The reason the National Guard and the FBI and the marshals are in D.C. is because President Trump is personally offended by the look of the city and the tone of the city. It's as simple as that. It has nothing to do with race. San Francisco is in worse shape than Washington, D.C.
A lot of cities are in worse shape.
City.
A lot of cities are in worse shape. And that's my point.
So injecting race is the usual phony garbage. The problem with Washington, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, L.A., on and on, is that progressive leadership does not believe in punishing many crimes. It's the broken windows theory. If you create social disorder, you're punished. Progressives do not believe that. So you can steal up to $1,000 in California and there's no penalty. So shoplifting is rampant. It's an easy analysis. And you cite Governor Moore, I will like in Maryland, but you cannot walk in many Baltimore neighborhoods. The drug addiction level is through the roof. That has not improved. What has improved is that Moore organized it so it is harder to commit gang murders. It is harder for them. Now, you go back to D.C., and that's exactly what's happening there. So Trump is actually emulating Governor Moore. The Guard and the other people are a blanket of protection. That means that the real bad guys won't come out anymore because, as you just heard, the head of the marshal said, we got 75 guns in a few days. So if you come out with a gun, we're going to get it. So they're not going to come out with guns, Cuomo. This is not brain surgery.
Listen, I don't have any problem with that. I disagree with three things. And then I want to move on to the other, even bigger opportunity for change in this country. One, that it has nothing to do with race. Of course it does. Why? Because we confuse. Look, I gave you your take. Here's mine. We confuse criminality with race all the time in this country. I love watching people on the right. This new thing I keep hearing: black people commit more crime. Why? And what kind of crime? And in what are the circumstances? And what changes it? That's the conversation to have. We're not having it. But this works politically for the president. Also, you cannot run away from the fact that crime is down in D.C. in measurable ways, more than most urban centers over the same period in the last 3 years. And there are reasons for that that have nothing to do with the National Guard. Now, the second thing.
Wait. Oh,
all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
You sound like General Westmoreland. That's who you are tonight. In addition to being a coxcomb, you're General Westmoreland.
So a coxcomb.
That's exactly the same argument.
Do you know what a coxcomb is? Not the dandy thing.
Yeah,
do you know where it comes from? Do you know where it comes from?
I don't know the origin of the word, but
the
I know
etymology
what
of it is it is a jester's hat, a coxcomb. Is that what you're saying? What my hair looks like? Jester's hat.
There you go. Now let me make that Westmoreland point because it's very quick.
Go ahead.
Westmoreland in Vietnam, which when it was going south fast, his people just would come out every week and say, hey, U.S. casualties are down, Viet Cong and North Vietnamese are up. That was a game. They played a stat game.
Yeah,
and of
lied.
course, it was ridiculous because they were losing.
Yeah.
No, they didn't lie. The books weren't cooked, but it didn't matter. It didn't because the disorder that was taking place in South Vietnam was on the rise. So you can disguise that by crime stats. There is disorder in the nation's capital. It offends Trump. Trump has the power to reverse it. He will reverse it. That's the story.
Bill O'Reilly is in his Jordan Peterson era, and I am loving it. I used to wonder why my granddaddy liked him so much and why he would make me watch Bill O'Reilly once they finally got cable. And I just kept on thinking, this dude is a pain to deal with. He's just so smug. The reality is, no, he's trying to talk about higher concepts that my teenage brain couldn't fully understand. And now he's talking in terms of, oh, I've actually studied this. I know what he's talking about. Oh, this is the concept. That makes way more sense now. He's talking about two big things here, and I'll get to the broken windows theory in a moment. But we've got to start off with the not even the coxcomb argument here. We've got to talk about General Westmoreland. Now, he was the leader of the forces in Vietnam, and needless to say, that war did not go well for us. And it wasn't because we were getting a high body count. That wasn't the problem. The problem was from the very onset of the war, Ho Chi Minh told the French when they were originally fighting the Vietnamese, if you kill 10 of my men for every one of yours that dies, even at those odds, you will lose and I will win. They knew that the Vietnamese were very tough people because it's a tough region of the world. The terrain is incredibly hilly. It's full of jungles. It's a rice culture. It is a completely foreign thing to most Americans. And when we got in there, we not only had to deal with the elements, and then we had to deal with tough conditions, we also had to deal with a very terrible South Vietnamese government. They did not do a good job of helping their own people. And that's ultimately the reason why they lost. The South Vietnamese government was so bad that it had no choice but to collapse the moment we said, we're not dealing with this nonsense anymore. And so General Westmoreland was forced to window dress the problems and never address the problems because he was not given the mandate to win. He was given the mandate to go out there and just destroy, and that's not how you conquer an area. That's not how you change a government sector. It's ultimately this complete turnaround from what we did in Germany and Japan, and later in Korea. We got those three places completely correct when we occupied them. Well, we failed in Afghanistan, we failed in Iraq, we failed in Vietnam because we failed to learn the lessons. But there's a bigger issue going on here that I really want to step into, and it's something that I hadn't been able to put into words, but finally during the research, it was like a light bulb went off. All right, something called the broken windows theory. It is based on the theory that visible signs of disorder, such as broken window, encourages a decline in respect towards the law, people's rights, and especially property. Now, I'll spare you the rest of the article because it's communistic nonsense. The dude who wrote this is some sort of community organizer, and therefore I know you're a terrible person. We had to deal with one community organizer president. That's enough for the rest of the lifetime of the United States. But the reality is, if the area in which you live is full of broken windows, full of people in the zombie-like trance of fentanyl walking the streets, and there's garbage everywhere, you know you're in a bad neighborhood. Okay, so if you don't have standards of beauty, which tells me that you don't have standards for yourself or for your neighbors, there are no boundaries, there are no limits, it is ultimately a kind of anarchy, and it's this circling of the drain. And people will try to argue against it, saying, no, we don't need to make places pretty. We need to make every place standard. It's just the culture. It's just the area. Forget about it. Absolutely not. When people accept that there is such a thing as subjective beauty, when you accept the fact that, yes, some places can be described as dirty, some places can be described as pretty, okay? I don't want to go to Death Valley and call that area beautiful. I'm going to call it rugged. I'm going to call it, I'm going to give it another name besides the term pretty. Compare that to the Grand Tetons, a beautiful mountain range with this beautiful symmetry of this 6,000 foot high elevation valley, and then these 13,000 foot high mountains. There is such a thing as subjective beauty, but there's also something that is more universal, that when you look at it, you know it's beautiful. Okay, that's why we look at something like the Sistine Chapel or a Da Vinci painting or Van Gogh and say, yes, this is beautiful, and we can even mathematically equate why it is. There is such a thing as truth out there, ladies and gentlemen, and Chris Cuomo is indeed acting like a coxcomb. He is acting like a court jester, basically saying the things that And there's two sides to the court jester. It's, I can say the things that no one else wants to say because I'm the jester, no one cares. Or I can say all the dumb things that no one else wants to say. In this case, Cuomo is saying all the dumb things in order to placate the fears like a soothsayer. So in this case, Bill O'Reilly is a little bit off. I don't think that Chris Cuomo is a court jester. He is a soothsayer who is trying to allay the fears and the very real problems that exist in our cities. And meanwhile, Bill O'Reilly, again, slightly off the mark, is talking about things in such an esoteric way that's finally making sense to me, and I hope I helped it make sense to you. Let me know down in the comments below. And the word of the day, if we're talking about Bill O'Reilly, don't be a blooter. A blooter. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one, and I hope you got the reference.